गुरु श्रीयुता पदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं चाप्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं त्वं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्ण चैतन्यदेवम् श्रीराधा कृष्णपदान् सगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौरभक्तवृन्द श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौरभक्तवृन्द श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द।
Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone to Bhakti Sastri and Gita Sastri course. Thank you so much for joining live with us online. Those who are on Zoom and as well as those who are on YouTube. We are today on day 8 of the course. Let's begin by chanting the prayers. Om Jnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitanscha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin iti namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gaurtashe Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarobhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We welcome you once again. Thank you so much for joining in. Let's go to our session for today. As always, I would request you to chant this Mangalacharan prayer specifically for this course with us. Namostute Vyasa Vishala Buddhe Fullara Vindayata Patra Netre Yena Tvaya Bharata Taila Purnaha Prajvalito Jnanamaya Pradipaha Prapannam Parijataya Totra Vetraikapanaye Jnanamudraya Krishnaya Gitamrita Duhe Namaha. So before we revise what we have already discussed in the previous classes on chapter 1, I would like to ask you to give me a quick feedback for these two questions which you see on the screen. One is the difficulty of the course, and the other is, are you able to catch up with the course? So you'll see on your screen now, a poll will come and you have to just answer that. I'll give you 20 seconds to answer this poll. 20 seconds to 30 seconds. So please try to answer these two questions. You can now see it on your screen. Those who are watching on YouTube, you can also give the feedback in the YouTube comment section. Okay, so we're waiting for some more to reply. If you are using an old version of Zoom, this may not work for you. 51 people have given the answer. There are total 56 participants. 52. Okay. So I give 10 seconds more before we go to the next question. Most of the people say it's medium. That's nice. Some say it's very easy. Some say it's easy, no problem. Some say it's tough. And one person says it's very tough. So for those of you who feel it's tough and very tough, I request you to kindly contact me personally, and so that we can, help you out. Okay. So those who are in the tough and very tough section, you can contact us for help. Going to the next poll, speed of the course. Are you able to catch up with the course, the assignments, the lessons? Yes, or you are lagging behind? Okay, so most people are able to catch up. Those who are lagging behind, they also need some help. Okay. Fine, 10 seconds more. So most of the people are able to catch up, but still there are around 20% who are lagging behind. So I request you again to kindly contact me personally, because we have made it very slow for you. Bhakti Shastri generally ends up in 4 months, and this is for 1 year. And if still you're not able to find time, that means you have to redesign your schedule for the week and take out sufficient time for the course, right? Or perhaps you have dived into something for which you are not really prepared. So this is the result for this. Okay, thank you so much for participating in this. All right, so we'll do a quick revision of what we have discussed till now, from verse number 1 to verse number 27. It starts with the question of Dhritarashtra, 1.1. What did my sons and the sons of Pandu do? Sanjaya answers in 1.2. Your son Duryodhana is eager to fight. He is going to the Acharya Drona to talk to him. Dronacharya approaches, Duryodhana approaches Dronacharya, and speaks to him about the strength of the warriors on the side of the Pandavas. After that, he changes the topic and speaks about the strength of warriors on his side, right? Hearing this, Bhishma Pitamaha blows the conch shell. Following that, all the warriors on the side of the Kauravas blow the conch shell. That part is done. Now Sanjaya puts on the spotlight on the side of the Pandavas. That's what we discussed last week. Then he says that on a chariot drawn by white horses, Lord Krishna and Arjuna are seated. They blow their conch shell. Then he gives out the names of the conch shells of the Pandavas. And then he says, because of this tumultuous sound produced by the conch shells of the Pandavas, the hearts of the Kauravas were shattered, right? After that, he puts the spotlight on Arjuna. Arjuna makes a request to Krishna that you please drive my chariot in between the two armies. I want to see who all have come here to fight with me, to fight with our army actually. And then Krishna does so. Krishna puts the chariot right in front of Dronacharya, Bhishma Pitamaha, and Kripacharya. And he tells to Arjuna sarcastically, these all people, they are your family members. And when Arjuna looks at them, the whole crowd on this side and on that side, he finds people from 5 generations, his own family, gathered there, from his grandfather to his grandson. And this overwhelms him with compassion. He feels sad. He feels pity on this situation, that family members, they should live together happily. But lo, what has happened? Alas, these family members have come together to fight with one another. Now, what we begin is the last section of chapter 1 of Bhagavad-gita, the 4th section. And this talks about Arjuna's various reasons to not fight the battle. His arguments, right, which he wants to give for not being eager to fight. Verse number 28 to verse number 46. Today in this session, we'll discuss verses 28 to verse number 38. So what we'll do is, as we have done it previously as well, we will just first recite the verses one by one, and then we will go to individual verses. Okay. Just a second now. Okay, so you can see on your screen, verse number 28. Arjuna uvacha drishtvaimam swajanam Krishna yuyutsum samupasthitam sidanti mama gatrani mukham cha parishushyati. Next verse, 29. Vepathuscha sharire me romaharshascha jayate gandivam shanshate hastat tvakchaiva paridahyate na cha shaknomi avasthatum brahmativa cha me manaha nimittani cha pashyami viparitani keshava na cha shreyo anupashyami hatva swajanam ahave na kangshe vijayam Krishna na cha rajyam sukhani cha. Okay, there is some problem with this. Kim no rajyena govinda kim bhoge jivitena va yesham arte kangshitam no rajyam bhogaha sukhani cha. Taimeva sthita yuddhe pranam styaktva dhanani cha acharyah pitarah putras tathaiva cha pitamahaha matula swasurah pautra shyala sambandhinas tatha etana hantumichhami ganatopi madhusudana api trailokya rajyasya hetoh kim no mahi krite nihatya dhartarashtranaha ka pritihi sya janardana. 3 more verses to go. पापमेवाश्रयेदस्मान् हत्वैतानाततायिनः तस्मान्नार्हावयं हन्तुं धार्तराष्ट्रान् सबान्धवान् स्वजनं हि कथं हत्वा सुखिनः स्याम माधव. Last verse. यद्यप्येतेन पश्यन्ति लोभोपहत चेतसः कुलक्षये कृतं दोषं मित्रद्रोहे च पातकं कथं न ज्ञेयम् अस्माभिः पापादस्मान् निवर्तितुं कुलक्षये कृतं दोषं प्रपश्यद्भिर्जनार्दन. I request the devotees to participate in chanting. Even if you are not doing it perfectly, you should try, because by trying one will learn, right? If you just stay mum, will not learn. So you should try, you should chant. Even if it's wrong, no one is going to hear you. You are anyway mute. So there is no need of any embarrassment. Try to chant. In this way, you will learn the chanting very easily, right? Many of you are Indians. So for Indians, it should not be difficult. People from outside India, they are also able to learn. So Indians can easily learn, right? So we go to verse number 28 for today. Okay, so Arjuna's reasons for deciding not to fight. Now verse number 27. From there we get the link to Arjuna's reasons not to fight. Verse number 27 was Tan samikshya sa kaunteyah sarvan bandhun avasthitan kripaya pareya vishto vishidan idam abravit. I have underlined two words there. You can see on the screen, right? Kripaya. Kripaya in English means by compassion. Paraya. Paraya means compassion of a higher grade. Compassion of a higher grade. So Arjuna is experiencing compassion at a higher level, and because of that compassion, he speaks up that I am not willing to fight. That's the link to his first reason to not fight. So in total, he gives how many reasons? We can categorize them into 5. Okay. This is the table which gives one quick view of the reasons, the verses, and the counter arguments. Okay. First reason is compassion. Second is enjoyment. Third is fear. Fourth is destruction of family. Fifth is indecision. On the column left to this, I have given the verses in which Arjuna gives these reasons. Okay. And on the right side, in the right column, you'll see counter explanation by Lord Krishna. So what do we see? The questions are being put forth in chapter 1, and Lord Krishna is going to answer them in chapter 2. One by one. He's going to deal with them. And interestingly, you see he's dealing with them progressively, right? Systematically. Arjuna is asking questions systematically or arguing systematically, and Krishna is also refuting the arguments in the same sequence systematically. So this is very important, nice to note down. Of course, I'll be sharing the slides with you. So this is nice to study later on. You know, these are the verses, and this is how Krishna argues, counter argues. First one is compassion. The first reason to not fight is compassion. You are all able to see the screen, right? Isn't it? So Arjuna was overwhelmed with compassion. Duryodhana, was he overwhelmed with compassion? Duryodhana, was he overwhelmed with compassion? No. But Arjuna was overwhelmed with compassion. Why this contrast? Why this difference? Is Duryodhana not having his brothers on the other side? Having. Arjuna is also having brothers on the opposite side. So why Arjuna is going through a certain feeling and Duryodhana is not going through that feeling? Because Arjuna is a devotee, a Vaishnava. And one of the qualities of a Vaishnava is that a Vaishnava is very eager to forgive. Very eager to forgive. Not take revenge, excuse. That's the quality of a great person. very easily they will forgive. So that's the reason. So what does Srila Prabhupada write? Devotion gives birth to good qualities. Okay. Now someone can read. Basanti Mataji, would you like to read what is written there? You can unmute yourself and read. Yes, we cannot hear you. Is your microphone working? Okay, maybe there's something wrong with your microphone. Govardhan Dari Prabhuji, would you like to read?
Yes, Prabhu.
Hmm.
Any man who has genuine devotion to the Lord has all the good qualities which are found in godly persons or in the demigods. Whereas the non-devotee, however, advanced, he may be in material, however advanced, he may be in material qualification, by education and culture, lacks of godly qualities. As such, Arjuna, just after seeing his kinsmen, friends, and relatives on the battlefield, was at once overwhelmed by compassion for them who had so decided to fight amongst themselves.
So Arjuna was feeling compassion. Why? Because he's seeing that on both the sides are his people, and instead of coming together to live together, they are eager to fight and kill one another, right? I'll give you an example of how those who are not really practicing devotion to God, even if they have good qualities, their good qualities disappear very soon. I'll give you a very interesting example. You all know the name of the mother and father of Lord Krishna, right? One is Vasudeva and Devaki, and the other is Yashoda and Nand Baba, right? Right. So when you listen to the story of the birth of Lord Krishna, what happens? Vasudeva gets married to Devaki, and he's taking Devaki to his home. At that time, the brother of Devaki, whose name is Kamsa, he comes forward and he tells the driver of the chariot, you get down from the seat. I will become the chariot driver of my sister. When Kamsa comes forward to say this, everyone there in the crowd, they become surprised. Look at Kamsa. He is so nice person, you know. He is going to become the driver of his sister. I mean, he's the king, he's the boss, and he's going to become the driver. Look at him, he's so humble, he's so gentle. He loves his sister so much. He is the best brother in the world. Best brother. What happens but later? That best brother is driving the chariot. After some time, when there is a voice from the sky, oh fool, you don't know the son of this sister of yours, he is going to become the cause of your death. What happens? He leaves the ropes of the horses down and he takes out the sword, catches the hair of Devaki and says, I'll cut your head off. All that kindness and compassion disappeared. Disappeared, right? So that manifestation of good quality is only temporary. It's not really good quality. It is conditional good quality. But for those who have pure heart, they are good in all situations. Not that some situations I am good, some situations I am not good. So for Arjuna, he is being good in a situation where he's not expected to be good, actually. He's being good there. He's being compassionate there. So that is how we understand this particular statement from Srila Prabhupada. Okay, someone else can read further. Rasheshwari, if you want to read, please read with a proper microphone.
Yes, Prabhuji, I think, can you hear me now?
No, your voice is echoing. No, Mataji.
Prabhuji, can you hear me?
No.
Now can...
Okay, I'll ask someone else to read. Arati Mataji, please read. Arati Mataji, are you there? Come on, you lift your
Yes,
hand.
Prabhu.
Yeah.
Yes, Prabhu.
Please read.
One second, I'm not able to see the.
Okay, then maybe I'll
Shall I
ask
try, Prabhuji? Can you hear me now?
Harneet Mataji. Okay, Vasanti Mataji, I'll give you a chance next time. Harneet Mataji.
Okay, no problem.
Devotion gives birth to good qualities. As far as his soldiers were concerned, he was sympathetic from the beginning, but he felt compassion even for the soldiers of the opposite party, foreseeing their imminent death. And while he was so thinking, the limbs of his body began to quiver and his mouth became dry. He was more or less astonished to see their fighting spirit. Practically, the whole community, all the blood relatives of Arjuna, had come to fight with him. This overwhelmed a kind devotee like Arjuna. 1.28 purport.
Very good. Thank you. So if you all, if you volunteer to read, then you should please once before check your microphone. That would be nice. Then you can come forward to volunteer. It saves time. Okay, I'll read now. Although it is not mentioned here, still one can easily imagine that not only were Arjuna's limbs quivering and his mouth drying up, but he was also crying out of compassion. He was also crying out of compassion. Okay, so which are these verses that we just went through? These are verses 28, 29. And now we'll look at those verses just quickly. Arjuna uvacha drishtvaimam swajanam Krishna yutsum samupastitam sidanti mama gatrani mukham cha parishusyati. Arjuna said, "My dear Krishna, seeing my friends and relatives present before me in such a fighting spirit, I feel the limbs of my body quivering and my mouth drying up." Okay, and then what does he say next? He says, "My whole body is trembling, my hair is standing on end, my bow Gandiva is slipping from my hand, and my skin is burning." Why the skin is burning? Because the heart is burning. The blood pressure has increased, and that's why the skin is burning. All right, so now we go to an exercise which you all have to do. Very interesting exercise. That exercise is like this, called fear responses. So here is the question. I'll put you all in groups of 3 people, and I request everyone to participate. I know many of you are passively attending this class, so please participate. That I'll put you in groups of 3 people, and you don't have to tell me in detail, how a person would respond to a fearful situation or a dangerous situation. You have to give me categories, types. What are the different ways in which you can respond to an object of danger or a fearful situation? Is the question clear? If not, you can ask, what are the different ways in which you can respond to an object of danger or a fearful situation? I hope the question is very clear and simple. I'm putting you in groups of 3 people, and I'm giving you maybe 4 to 5 minutes. You discuss and come up with the answer. Don't give example, no examples, only different terms, types, ways in which you can respond. Okay, fine. Ready to do this? Yes. Putting you in breakout rooms of 3. We have total 65 participants. So I'm making 21 breakout rooms. Options. We give you 4 minutes. Okay, open. Please join. Hare Krishna. What about other members here? Are you not joining the room? Suresh Babu, Nayan Jyoti Mataji. Welcome back. I hope we all had a wonderful discussion. So what I request you now is, because we have made 20 groups and it's going to take a lot of time if I take inputs from all of you, you can just start putting the things into the chat box. The group leader can do that, right? Just put the things into the chat box. The chat box, you can just type in the chat box, because I want it to be short, one word, not explanation. So you just put in the chat box. The group leaders can do that. If you have made any group leader, you can do that, right? Be quick. How you can respond to a fearful situation. Are you putting in the chat box? Yes, I'm not getting any entries. Save, support, escape. Okay, very good. Okay, what else? Avoid, yeah, avoid. Run away, defend, offend, react, call for help, dodge, confused, numbness. Okay, run, take, help, face it, confront, help from senior devotees, aggressive, meditation, or sit down on meditation, surrender, take help from Gita, pray, can't respond, stand still, run, perspiration, discomfort in stomach, bloating of stomach, become hyperactive. Room number 14. Find solution to problem, faith in, palpitation. Okay, hand, legs start shaking, mind frozen, lost voice, nervous, scratch head, become cautious. Okay, trusting answers. First spy. Okay, fine, thank you. So a lot of points are coming. Ignore. Well done. So what I'll show you is a summary of what all you have tried to give as the answer. Okay. So this is the summary you can see on the screen. 4 ways you can respond to a fearful situation. Are you all able to see the screen? Yes. Fight, flight, fawn, freeze. Okay. Now here you see in English, I put engage and disengage. Engage means you react positively. Disengage means you react negatively. What is fight? Okay, someone is attacking you, you fight. What is flight? Someone is attacking you, you run. What is freeze? Someone is attacking you, you are in a dangerous situation, you become confused, dumb, inert, right? You may faint, you may become totally nervous. And fawn means what? You try to negotiate. You tell that person, please don't attack me, please, I'll do whatever you say. Or you try to speak some nice words and do some kind of negotiation. So that's fawn, making a deal. These are the 4 ways one can react. Arjuna is in a fearful situation now. And he can react in these 4 ways. Either he can fight, or he can flight, or he can fawn, or he can freeze. Correct? Will the option fawn work for Arjuna to negotiate? No, because they've already tried negotiation before. Now he has 3 options: fight, flight, and freeze. Okay. For this particular chart which I am showing you, I am not going to explain more now. I'll go to the next slide. But after the session is over today, and we are also done with the session tomorrow, you will have to take a printout of this chart, if possible, or keep it in your phone. And for each of these 4 options, for what you have studied in chapter 1 in Bhagavad-gita and few verses of the chapter 2 in the beginning, you have to put down the points. What will Arjuna do what is Arjuna planning to do in either of these 4 situations or 4 responses? Am I clear? Like if Arjuna decides to fight, what will happen? If Arjuna decides to flight, run away, what will happen? Okay. If you are not clear with this question, you can ask at the end of the session. So now let's do some further fear analysis. When this chapter opened up, we came to know from Sanjaya, Duryodhana was afraid, right? And now Arjuna is also afraid. But both of their fear is not coming from same cause. Arjuna's fear is caused by compassion. Duryodhana's fear was caused by greed. What is Arjuna's response to this fearful situation? When we study the Gita, we'll come to know he is frozen. He's not wanting to fight. He cannot run away because he's a Kshatriya. He cannot negotiate, and he has become frozen, right? How do we know he has become frozen? We just read those verses. My mind is reeling, my hand is shaking, I am trembling, my bow is slipping, right? Correct? He's frozen. He doesn't know how to react. And what is Arjuna's response to this situation? Sorry, Duryodhana's response to this situation? We will fight. Both of these kinds of fears are material. Arjuna's fear is also material. Duryodhana's fear is also material. Arjuna's fear is not spiritual. It's material fear. You know why? Because Arjuna's compassion is not spiritual here. It is material compassion. It is compassion for the body, not compassion for the soul. And finally, in both of these situations, there is selfishness. In Duryodhana's case, it is self-centered selfishness. He's thinking about himself. In Arjuna's case, it is self-extended selfishness, which means thinking about people whom you know, those who belong to you, my family. That's called extended selfishness. Extended. You extend it beyond yourself. That's called extended selfishness, right? But the interesting difference is Arjuna's fear is considered of a higher grade because it's based on compassion. And Duryodhana's fear is considered of lower grade because it's based on greed. They are not the same. They are different, right? And this qualifies Arjuna to become a student of Gita, and this qualifies this disqualifies Duryodhana to become a student of Bhagavad-gita. Okay, everyone understood this table? Yes. Now this is the problem. Arjuna's problem. Drishtvevam swajanam Krishna yuyutsum samupasthitam sidanti mama gatrani mukham cha parishishyati. Here he is using this word called swajanam. Swa means my. Janam means people. My people. Who are my people? My family members, my relatives, my friends. They are my people. Now, there's nothing wrong about it. But then if you look at this thing from spiritual perspective, then there is some ignorance in this. What is the ignorance? We'll read that now. Someone can read it. Who would like to read? Anju Mataji, would you like to read?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Own men. My dear Krishna, I have to kill my own men. Own men means this bodily relationship. Why are others not own men? Everyone is own men because everyone is Krishna's son. So when one becomes Krishna conscious, he can see everyone as own men. And when he is not Krishna conscious, he simply sees own men where there is bodily relationship. This is the defect. Lecture, Bhagavad-gita 1.28-29, London 73.
So what is Srila Prabhupada saying here? He's saying, why not others are my own men? If everyone is a son of God or a child of God, then everyone is my own man, right? Why only these people are my own men? So this shows Arjuna's defect, and Krishna will counteract this argument in second chapter by broadening Arjuna's understanding. Why, Arjuna, you're thinking these people, you are your family members? Why not Vasudeva Kutumbakam? Why not everyone is my own man? Now Arjuna's situation, we already discussed this. Trembling of body, mouth drying up, standing of hairs, burning of skin, extreme perspiration, mind was drilling. So what is the fear response? Freeze, right? Doesn't know what to do. I don't want to fight. I don't want to fight. I don't want to negotiate. I can only faint in this situation. And this is because of fear. Very, very afraid of what's going to happen next, right? Now let's go to the second reason. That is on verse number 30 of this chapter. Na cha shaknomi avastatum brahmati vachame manaha nimittani cha pashyami viparitani keshava. So first reason was compassion, that is over. Now we go to the second reason. What is the underlined word there? Nimittani cha pashyami viparitani. Pashyami means to see. Viparitani means opposite. So what is Arjuna saying here? What I see is this war, if it happens, the result that this war will produce will be opposite to what I desire. Okay. This war will produce a certain result, and this is going to be opposite to what I desire. So I will not fight. I will not fight. What is his desire? Now that he'll speak in the next verse. You know, what is his desire? He'll talk about it in the next verse. So, but here we have a lesson. What is the lesson here? There are different levels of spirituality. At a lower level, one is more interested in personal material gratification than giving pleasure to God. Okay. So here Arjuna is not thinking, if I fight, Krishna will be happy, so I should fight. He is thinking, if I fight, I will not be happy, so I will not fight. I will not be happy, so I will not fight. He's not thinking, if I fight, Krishna will be happy, so I should fight. So that is a second reason to not fight. Personal enjoyment. This war will not give me happiness, so I don't want to do. Like a simple example can be given. You don't cook someday. So if the people who are living with you, they ask you, why you did not cook today? Because I don't feel like eating. So I don't cook. I didn't cook. But then they will say, Arey, you don't want to eat, we want to eat. Cook for us at least. And you say, no, I am not eating, so no one should eat. I don't want to cook. So that is what Arjuna is saying here. If I fight, I will not be happy, so I will not fight. That's personal enjoyment, thinking about one's own enjoyment and giving that more priority. That is the second reason to not fight. Enjoyment, right? So Arjuna makes a point here. Okay, we'll take the question later. Pratik, keep the question for later, right? Good question, you keep asking me later. No ultimate good. So please note this verse is 1.31, and I've underlined a particular Sanskrit word. This Sanskrit word comes again and again in Bhagavad-gita because Arjuna has one question only. And what is that question? What is best for me in this situation? So he says, Na cha shreyo anupashyami. Shreya means what is the best for me. I'm sorry, I did not change this. My own men, it's wrong. It should not be my own men. It should be good. Shreya means good. Anupashyami hatva swajanam ahve. He's saying, I don't see any good in killing my people. I don't see any good in killing my people. So I take you to that verse. Let's directly read from that Sanskrit verse from the screen. Na cha shreyo anupashyami hatva swajanam ahave na kangshe vijayam krishna na cha rajyam sukhani cha. Shreya means good, okay, ultimate good. So what does he say? Translation. I do not see how any good can come from killing my own kinsmen in this battle. So when he says that, Lord Krishna may counter argue. He may say, why you don't see any good? If you kill your kinsmen in this battle and you win, you become victorious, then you'll get the kingdom, right? And when you get the kingdom, you can enjoy the king's life, right? You fight, You win, you get the kingdom, you enjoy, you be happy. And what is Arjuna saying? Even if I fight and I win and I get the chance to enjoy, I will not be able to enjoy. I won't be happy. So if I won't be happy, why should I fight? I should not fight. I don't want to fight. And Krishna says, no, 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 you will become happy, Arjuna. So he says, I don't want such happiness. I don't want such happiness. Why you don't want such happiness? Why you don't want such happiness? Then this is the argument that Arjuna gives. You see, Arjuna is a brilliant person. He's saying, with whom shall I enjoy? And to enjoy, I need people, no? With whom will I enjoy? Everyone who is mine will get killed. So how will I enjoy? Can you enjoy alone? No, you need people to enjoy with. And people will die on both the sides. People will die on that side. People will die on my side. How will I enjoy? So he's saying, Krishna is saying, you kill people, you become victorious, you gain the kingdom, you enjoy. And Arjuna is saying, but if my all kinsmen are killed, then what is the value of my victory? With whom shall I enjoy? To enjoy, you need relationship, people, right? That's how people enjoy. Want to have relationships. Through relationships, we serve people. And through that service, we get happiness. Arjuna is saying, with whom will I enjoy? I have big palace, I will have, but there won't be anyone living in the palace. Right? So with whom shall I enjoy? So I don't want such enjoyment. I don't want that. In fact, Arjuna says, oh my dear friend Krishna, if for this sake you make me the king of the heavens, I don't want to become the king of the heavens also. I don't want that happiness. So Arjuna is quite a selfless person, intelligent person. Now then he takes three names of Lord Krishna in this verse, and the Acharyas have given very deep import to those three names. I'll just read the next verse. Kim no rajena govinda, kim bhoge jivitena va, yeshamarte kangshitam no, rajyam bhoga sukhani cha, taimeva sthita yuddhe, pranam styaktva dhanani cha, acharya pitarah putras, tathaiva cha pitamaha. You read further, you find two more names of Lord Krishna come in this verse. So the translation goes like this. O Govinda, of what avail to us are a kingdom, happiness, or even life itself, when all those for whom we may desire them are now added on this battlefield? O Madhusudana, when teachers, fathers, sons, grandfathers, maternal uncles, fathers-in-law, grandsons, brothers-in-law, and other relatives are ready to give up their lives and properties and are standing before me, why should I wish to kill them, even though they might otherwise kill me? O maintainer of all living entities, I am not prepared. Oh, I think you're not able to see the screen. I'm so sorry. O maintainer of all living entities, I am not prepared to fight with them, even in exchange for the three worlds, let alone this earth. What pleasure will be derived from killing the sons of Dhritarashtra, right? So here you can see these are the deep meanings of the names that Arjuna is giving to Lord Krishna. He called Krishna here by three names: Govinda, Madhusudana, Janardana. And as I have explained before, whenever a name of Lord Krishna or Arjuna is given in Bhagavad-gita, it has a deeper meaning. When he says Govinda, he is trying to tell Krishna, Govinda means Govindati, one who gives pleasure to one's mind and senses. So he's telling to Lord Krishna, you give pleasure to everyone. Why don't you understand? My fighting in this battle will not give me pleasure. Why are you not thinking of the ways I can be happy? So you should think about my happiness. So he's calling Lord Krishna as Govinda. And then he says Madhusudana. Madhu was the name of a demon. And in some incarnation, Lord Krishna killed that demon. So he's telling, you always kill people who are your demons. You never kill people who are your family members. So why are you asking me to kill my family members? And last he says Janardana. Janardana means one who kills people. So he says, you kill, no, why you are asking me to kill? If you kill because you are God, you will not get any sinful reaction. No pap, no sin for you. So you kill. If I kill, then I will be considered a sinful person. Why are you asking me to kill? You kill. So he's very interestingly, giving arguments to Krishna that I don't want to kill. You kill. If you kill, no one will say anything. You don't have to go to hell for that. But if I kill, I have to go to hell for that. So better you do that. In this way, he is speaking. Okay, so these are very interesting ways of Arjuna arguing on this point. Someone would like to read the purport of this verse, 1.32 to 35. Neha Mataji, yes. Unmute, please.
Prabhuji, I can't see the screen, Prabhuji.
Yes, now you can read.
Purport. Arjuna has addressed Lord Krishna as Govinda because Krishna is the object of all pleasures for cows and the senses. By using this significant word, Arjuna indicates that Krishna should understand what will satisfy Arjuna's senses. But Govinda is not meant for satisfying our senses. If we try to satisfy the senses of Govinda, however, then automatically our own senses are satisfied. Materially, everyone wants to satisfy his senses, and he wants God to be the order supplier for such satisfaction. The Lord will satisfy the senses of the living entities as much as they deserve, but not to the extent that they may covet. But when one takes the opposite way, namely, when one tries to satisfy the senses
Of Govinda.
When one tries to satisfy the senses of Govinda without desiring to satisfy one's own senses, then by the grace of Govinda, all desires of the living entity are satisfied. Arjuna's deep affection for community and family members is exhibited here partly due to his natural compassion for them. He is therefore not prepared to fight. Everyone wants to show his opulence to friends and relatives, but Arjuna fears that all his relatives and friends will be killed on the battlefield and he will be unable to share his opulence after victory. This is a typical calculation of material life. The transcendental life, however, is different. Since a devotee wants to satisfy the desires of the Lord, he can, Lord willing, accept all kinds of opulence for the service of the Lord. And if the Lord is not willing, he should not accept a farthing. Arjuna did not want to kill his relatives, and if there were any need to kill them, he desired that Krishna kill them personally. At this point, he did not know that Krishna had already killed them before their coming into the battlefield, and that he was only to become an instrument for Krishna. This fact is disclosed in following chapters. As a natural devotee of the Lord, Arjuna did not like to retaliate against his miscreant cousins and brothers, but it was the Lord's plan that they should all be killed. The devotee of the Lord does not retaliate against the wrongdoer, but the Lord does not tolerate any mischief done to the devotee by the miscreants. The Lord can excuse a person on his own account, but he excuses no one who has done harm to his devotees. Therefore, the Lord was determined to kill the miscreants, although Arjuna wanted to excuse them. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So I hope you could understand very nicely the purport to this, right? I'm sorry. So the purport to this. So now you can take a break, 5 minutes break for all of you. Join us back after the break. And then we'll go to the third reason of Arjuna to not fight the battle, right? So you can all disperse. Thank you. See you.
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Okay, so welcome back. I hope you are fresh after the break. No more feeling sleepy, tired, right? So now, quick question. If you know the answer, you raise your hand. What was the last name that Krishna was addressed with by Arjuna? What was the last name? Guru Mayam Prabhu?
Janardana.
Okay, very good. And what does he intend to tell Krishna by that name?
He is the killer of the demon, and why don't he kill instead of myself killing, instead of Arjuna killing his kinsman?
Very good. And why is he telling so?
Because he don't want to accumulate by killing his family to incur the karma. Bad thing, yeah.
Karma, right? Sinful reaction.
Sinful
He's saying, if I kill, I'll get sinful reaction, right? So you kill, you are God. If you kill, no sinful reaction, right? So this gives the link to the third reason to not fight. What is that? Fear. The first reason to not fight was compassion. The second reason to not fight was my personal enjoyment. The third reason to not fight is fear, that if I kill, I'll have to suffer in future, right? And you see, any person who is religious or spiritual has always this kind of fear that I should not do something wrong, because if I do something wrong, there'll be punishment in future, correct? Any person knows that. A person who knows there are some rules is always afraid of breaking those rules, right? Because breaking those rules will bring me some misery in future. And what is Arjuna thinking? You see, after I kill all of these people, maybe for 10 years, 20 years, I'll be the king. I will be the king. But by killing millions of people, I don't know for how many millions of years I have to be in hell. So is that worth? Is that worth? And Mahabharata tells, after the Pandavas, they defeated the Kauravas, Yudhishthira Maharaj ruled the kingdom only for 37 years. 37. Now, the present day politician will be very happy to hear this. You know, to be in the government position for 37 years, that's a jackpot. Right? That's a big jackpot. But if you talk of people of Dwapar Yuga, 37 years was not a big duration of time, because in that age, people, they generally live for 1,000 years. So 37 years was just like this, you know. So he was thinking, if I become the king for such a short period of time, but I have to suffer in hell for such a long period of time, it's not a good deal. It's not good deal, right? So I cannot fight. I don't want to fight. So that's the reason he gives the third reason to not fight. There is fear. Fear of sin. Okay. And now, before we understand it more deeply, we'll try to look at this thing. You are able to see the PPT, right? Types of shastras or types of scriptures. Scriptures are not of one kind. Scriptures are of many kind. Okay. I put the Sanskrit. I'll explain in English also. The first is artha. The second is kama. The third is dharma, the fourth is jnana, and the fifth is bhakti. Okay. Artha means economics, politics, social life. Kama means enjoyment. Dharma means religion and duty. Jnana means spiritual knowledge. Atma Gyan, knowledge of Atma, Atma Tattva. And bhakti means love and devotion for God. Okay. So there are different scriptures who talk about these different subject matters. All right, makes sense? Like in Artha Shastra, I'll give you an example for Artha Shastra. Chanakya Niti, that is Artha Shastra. Vidura Niti, that is Artha Shastra. Economics, politics. Hit Upadesh, have you heard this book of name Hit Upadesh or Panchatantra? Have you heard? Stories of animals. That's all Artha Shastra. Okay. Like that, there are books on Kama Shastra. There are books on Dharma Shastra. Give one example of Dharma Shastra. Manusmriti is Dharma Shastra. Manusmriti. Then there are Jnana Shastras. Jnana Shastras are which books? Upanishads. Like that, which gives liberation, moksha. They are called Jnana Shastra. And Bhakti Shastra, someone can tell? Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, nectar of devotion, nectar of instruction. These are Bhakti Shastras. Okay. Bhagavad-gita. What is Bhagavad-gita? Artha Shastra?
Upanishad.
The Artha Shastra?
Bhakti Shastra.
Okay, Bhagavad-gita is Bhakti Shastra. It can also be called as Jnana Shastra.
Yeah, Upanishad.
It can also be called as Yoga Shastra. But it is not Artha Shastra or Kama Shastra and not even Dharma Shastra. It may touch Dharma, but it is not fully just talking about normal. Now, let me ask you another question. Are all the scriptures on the same level?
No.
Are they on the same level?
No.
No, not on the same level, right?
No.
So if people, they just argue from these different scriptures, is that reasonable? Not, because they are not on the same level. Now, what is Krishna telling Arjuna? If you fight, you win. If you win, you get the kingdom. If you get the kingdom, you enjoy. That is Artha Shastra. That is economics. Okay, right? But what is Arjuna thinking? He is thinking from the level of Dharma Shastra. That if I kill, it will be sin. It's not religious, it is irreligious. So I should not fight. He's talking from a different level, a higher level. He's talking from the point of Dharma, right? And what is the Dharma here? Can someone say? What is the adharma here if Arjuna fights? What's the adharma? If Arjuna fights, what's going to be wrong? What is irreligious about it?
Killing his own men.
Yeah,
Killing his own
family
members.
That is adharma. Yeah, killing his own family members. That is adharma. So Arjuna is saying, from economics point of view, this war is very nice. From religious point of view, this war is not good. And that's why I don't want to fight. So when we study this chapter, we are all able to appreciate that Arjuna was not a moody person. You know, like today I don't feel like eating, so I'm not going to fight. No, he is giving very good reasons why I don't want to fight. And all these reasons are based on his knowledge of scriptures, right? He's giving those reasons. So, okay, we can move to the next one. Levels of instructions. Artha Shastra, they say, you kill the aggressors. Aggressors in Sanskrit are called atatayina. If you did the reading, I don't know how many of you did the reading assignment, but if you did the reading assignment, in the purport to verse number 1.36, the number of aggressors are given. The type of aggressors are given, right? 5 or 6? 6 type of aggressors, right? Anyone remembers them? Let's see now. Who did the reading? Who remembers? Okay.
Poison giver.
Okay. We already started talking. Huh? Wait.
Excuse the land.
You raise the hands. Let them be given the chance. Okay. Kwanshya Mataji. I don't know how to pronounce your name. Right. Please unmute.
Kwanshya. Steal wealth.
Yeah, one who steals wealth. Thank you, Kwanshya Mataji. Okay, Anju Mataji.
Others' wife.
Okay, one who kidnaps others' wife. Very good. Kavya Mataji.
One who sets fire to the house.
One who sets fire to the house. Vinod Prabhu. Unmute.
Prabhuji, weapon attack.
Attacks by weapon. Very good. All right. Very good. Govardhan Dari Prabhu. Cannot hear you, Prabhu.
I was thinking about kidnapping the wife and the other,
It's
but
already
they say
taken.
already.
Okay. Srinivas Gopal. Srinivas, not there. Okay, there. Yes, cannot hear you. If you raise your hand, you should be ready, you know. After raising the hand, you are not ready. Vasanti Mataji.
One who plunders riches and grabs land.
Grabbing land. Grabs land. Okay, now last point is remaining. Tina Mataji.
Prabhuji, my point was same. Grab somebody's land and plunders the riches.
Okay. If you have the same point, then please don't repeat. Mahesh, different point.
Touching the ladies of others.
Already done. Kidnapping.
Poison.
Yeah.
Poison
giver.
Poison giver.
Okay. So poison giver tries to burn the house, kidnaps the wife, attacks the what else? Plunders wealth and tries to occupy the land. And Kauravas, they did all these 6 things to the Pandavas. All 6. Everything done. Tried to poison Bhima, tried to kidnap Draupadi, tried to set fire to the house of the Pandavas, right? Took away their wealth, took away their land, and also attacked by weapons. All 6 things done. So they are Atatai. So Lord Krishna, he is telling, because they are Atatai, you should kill them. That's what the Artha Shastra says. You should kill. And in killing them, you will not get any sin. But Arjuna is saying, no, I cannot. So let's read this verse. Papameva shredasman hatvaitāna tatayinaha tasman arhavayam hantum dhatarashtan sabandhavan swajanam hi katham hatva sukhinah syama madhava. Sin will overcome us if we slay such aggressors. Please, you see, when we study Bhagavad-gita, especially books written by Srila Prabhupada, we have to be very attentive to every single word. Arjuna is saying, not that he's saying if we slay aggressors, he's saying such aggressors. Such means what? Those aggressors which are our family members. Therefore, it is not proper for us to kill the sons of Dhritarashtra and our friends. What should we gain, O Krishna, husband of the goddess of fortune? And how could we be happy by killing our own kinsman? So Krishna is saying, Artha Shastra is saying, you kill. He's saying, no, no, no. Dharma Shastra is saying, I cannot kill. I cannot kill. Right? And then we go to the next one. Yadyapyetena pashyanti lobhopahata chetasaha kulakshay kritam dosham mitra drohe chapatakam. You know, there is a very interesting dialogue going on between Krishna and Arjuna. When Arjuna says, they are my family members, if I kill them, I'll go to hell. You know what does Krishna tell Arjuna? But they are ready to kill you. What about that? Will they not go to hell? They are ready to kill you. So if they are ready to kill you, tit for tat, you should be ready to kill them. You know? And what did Arjuna say here? Oh Krishna, my dear friend, those people, the Kauravas, they have become blind. They have lost their eyesight. Blind by what? Who will say? Blind by?
Greed.
Blind by greed. They have become blind by greed. Greed can make one blind, isn't it? Right? Blind to duty. So they have become blind by greed. And because of that blindness, they are not able to see the future. That if we kill our family members, we'll be in hell. They have become blind. They have lost the vision. Kulakshay kritam dosham mitra dohe chapatakam. And I'll tell you now an interesting story actually. You know, very interesting story. When the Kauravas had stolen away the kingdom of Pandavas, not stolen, but basically by cheating them in gambling match, taken away the kingdom, then the Kauravas, the Pandavas had to go to the forest to live there for 12 years. One day Duryodhana, he planned with his brothers, you know, I'm sure the Pandavas must be suffering like hell in the forest. Why not go there and make them suffer more? They are already suffering. Let us go there and make them suffer more. So his brothers asked, how will you do that? Oh, very simple. We'll just go next to where they are staying. They are poor people. They don't have nice food to eat, no proper house to stay. We will go there with a big team and we'll have celebration there. And when they will see us enjoy, their heart will burn with envy and they will suffer like anything. And seeing them suffer, I'll be so happy. So let us go to the forest. So Duryodhana makes up the plan and tells some lie to Dhritarashtra, gives some lame excuse, and takes everyone, camps in the forest, just on the other side of the bank of a river, on one side of which Pandavas were staying. So Pandavas are staying on one side of the river. There is the river. On the other side, Duryodhana and his party come and they camp. Pandavas, they see Duryodhana has come. Okay, no problem. They don't talk, nothing. Then Duryodhana starts celebrating. Starts jumping into the river and playing into the river. This happens. Suddenly, some celestial beings called Gandharvas, they come and they start beating the Kauravas, left, right, and center. And they catch Duryodhana, tie him in a rope, and they take him away. At that time, Bhima laughs like anything. Oh, very nice. Very nice thing has happened. And Yudhishthira tells Bhima, Bhima, this is not proper manners. They are our brothers. You should go and protect them. And Bhima says, what's wrong with you, my brother? Where is your intelligence gone? Why you always think like this? This is the opportunity to celebrate. We did not do anything and these people came and Gandharvas, they are teaching them a good lesson. It's very nice. Yudhishthira said, no. When we have an internal fight, then we are 5 and 100. But if we have an external war, then we are 105, which means we are together. So he tells Arjuna and Bhima, right now go and bring Duryodhana back. Fight with the Gandharvas. Duryodhana was actually badly beaten and taken away. But Bhima and Arjuna, they go, they fight with the Gandharvas and they save the life of Duryodhana. Okay. Duryodhana comes there, he thanks Yudhishthira, goes from there. Now, Arjuna is recalling that and he's saying, look at this ungrateful person. Ungrateful person. We saved his life, but this fellow, because he's blinded by greed, he cannot see. So what is Arjuna saying here? Mitra droha. Mitra means friend. Droha means to betray. Betray. So he's saying these people are betraying us. And one thing, it's given in Mahabharata. Yaksha asked 100 questions to Maharaj Yudhishthira. And one question was, what is the most wrong thing to do? And Yudhishthira Maharaj said, to break the trust of those who trust you. To break the trust of those who trust you. To betray someone. To be ungrateful is the most wrong thing to do. And here, Kauravas are doing that. And Arjuna is saying, these people, they are so blind, they cannot see Krishna. But he says to Krishna, are we also blind? Are we also blind that we cannot see? So he says, what will be the difference between us and them if we also think like them? So the next verse is, Katham nageyam asmabhihi papad asma nivartitum kulakshay kritam dosham prapashyadhe janardana. So he speaks like this. O Janardana, although these men, their hearts overtaken by greed, see no fault in killing one's family or quarreling with friends, why should we, who can see the crime in destroying a family, engage in these acts of sin? Right? Okay. Vasanti Mataji, please read the purport.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Please.
A Kshatriya is not supposed to refuse to battle or gamble when he is so invited by some rival party. Under such an obligation, Arjuna could not refuse to fight because he had been challenged by the party of Duryodhana. In this connection, Arjuna considered that the other party might be blind to the effects of such a challenge. Arjuna, however, could see the evil consequences and could not accept the challenge. Obligation is actually binding when the effect is good. But when the effect is otherwise, then no one can be bound. Considering all these pros and cons, Arjuna decided not to fight. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you. So this is the point made by Arjuna. Are we that greedy? Are we that greedy that we should fight? Right? And then you can see the third line, that is the link to the fourth reason to not fight. We'll not discuss that today. That's for tomorrow's class. Kulakshay kritam dosham. It will lead to destruction of dynasty. That's the fourth reason. So now we'll discuss something about greed. Lesson to learn. It's given in Srimad Bhagavatam. Hunger and thirst can be satisfied by eating and drinking. Anger can be satisfied by shouting, chastising, or punishing. But greed can never be satisfied by any means. Never ever satisfied. And what does greed do? 5 things happens to someone who becomes greedy. We lose 5 things when we become a victim of greed. What are those 5 things? First is austerity. Whatever tapasya we have done. Second, education. Third, knowledge. Fourth, reputation. And fifth, spiritual strength. That's why those who are on the path of spiritual life or religious life, they should be very careful not to become a victim of greed, because greed can pull us down spiritually. We can even have a demotion in spiritual life because of greed. These things are lost. Austerity, education, knowledge, reputation, and spiritual strength. 5 things, right? Now, the last thing which we are going to talk about today and then finish. You see, there are situations in life when you are in a dilemma. You know what you are supposed to do is not correct, but there is someone who is trying to put pressure on you and get that thing done. It happens or not? It happens, right? Right? Like you are in a junior position and there is someone senior to you and he or she is telling you to do something and it's not correct. This is against your principles, against the ethos. This is wrong, very, very wrong. But then there's pressure. Now this happens very often in work scenarios. Sometimes it happens within a family also, right? Sometimes it happens even in spiritual institutions. It happens everywhere. It happens that those who are above you, they try to put pressure on you, and then they will say, "I'm your boss. You will not listen to me. I'm your superior. You won't listen to my words. You won't follow my advice, my suggestion." So at that time, those who are in junior position, they feel obliged. My senior is telling I must do. Right? Later on, if someone will question you, why did you do? You will say, actually, I knew it is not right thing to do, but what to do? My senior was telling me, my senior was putting pressure on me. So I had to do, because he has done so much, he has done so much for me. I had to listen, right? Now here, Arjuna also is in that situation. He is a Kshatriya. And what are the rules for a Kshatriya? A Kshatriya cannot refuse for 2 kinds of things. One is, if someone tells a Kshatriya, fight, Kshatriya has to fight. Second, if someone tells Kshatriya, gamble, Kshatriya has to gamble. Cannot say no. There is obligation. But here, what is Srila Prabhupada is saying? Read. A Kshatriya is not supposed to refuse to battle or gamble when he is invited by some rival party. Under such an obligation, Arjuna could not refuse to fight because he had been challenged by the party of Duryodhana. But the key point is in the next line, and this is something which all of us should seriously make a note of. When there are situations in life when you have to say no, be ready to say no, right? Not that under pressure, we just say yes, 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 and yes. That's very wrong. Very, very wrong. Even if you have people who are superiors to you and they are asking you to do something which you don't agree with, which is against your principle, and this is against the ethos, we should have the courage to say a sweet no, a pleasant no, with an explanation. This is very important. Very important. So what is the next line? Obligation is actually binding when the effect is good. If you are obliged only when the effect is good. But if you, let's say, do something and the effect is bad, then there's no obligation. So a person should see the result. Is the result good or bad? If it is bad, there's no obligation. One can easily say, no, there's nothing wrong in that. Obligation is only there when the result is going to be good. If it's bad, one can say, no, I don't agree with this. This is wrong. I don't want to do. So what is Arjuna doing? He's saying, Duryodhana is challenging me. I am a Kshatriya. I am obliged to say yes. But the result of this battle is not good. So I say no. I don't fight. I don't want to fight. I say no. I am not obliged. Right? So with that, we'll stop here. Thank you so much. Now we can take your questions if you have any. You can raise your hand and one by one we'll take the questions. Right? Please stay for question and answer session. I know some of you leave during the question and answer sessions. It's not good. You learn a lot from others' questions. You can leave after 3 p.m. India time. I won't say anything. But before that, please stay in the session. Guru Mayam Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, it is said that Krishna has already killed the people in the battlefield, and Arjuna was not aware of it. What does that mean? I could not understand that part.
Okay, what it means to say is Krishna has already planned for them to die, the Kauravas. It's certain to happen in future. Right? This is his plan. Now, if you are understanding the whole story, it is Krishna's plan, right? The battle should happen.
Yes.
And it is Krishna's plan that the Kauravas should die. So this is already destined. This is going to happen. If Arjuna says, I will not fight, do you think this will not happen? It will happen or it will not happen?
It will happen.
It will happen. If Arjuna doesn't fight, then Krishna will fight or someone else will fight. So Arjuna's not fighting will not stop the Kauravas from going to death. So what is the point then in giving all these arguments? Because let's say he doesn't fight, and if the Kauravas don't die, then there is something good about it. But then Kauravas are destined to die. We'll see that in chapter 11, when Krishna will show universal form and he'll show the future. He will show, oh, he is dying, he is dying, he is dying, everyone are dying. Right? So that is anyway going to happen. But Arjuna is not thinking in that manner, that this is destined, it will happen. So why should I not just do my duty of fighting? Okay. Yeah, got it? Thank you.
Thank you.
Paramita Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Am I audible?
Yes.
Prabhuji, you showed this Shastras. 6 Shastras are there.
5.
So, 5.
Artha, Kama, Dharma, Jnana, Bhakti.
Okay. So, if anyone starts learning the Shastras, so have they started sequentially or they can directly jump to Dharma or Bhakti Shastra?
The number of Shastras which are there, if anyone wants to read it, one life will not be sufficient. Right? So there is no point in studying all the Shastras. No point. We don't have so much time. Neither do we have so much of intelligence. Right? So that's why we should study the essence of Shastra, which is only 2 books sufficient. Bhagavad-gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. 2 books sufficient. They are called the essence of all scriptures. That's why one should study them deeply. Others, one can know to whatever extent it is needed. That's all. But no need to study, right? We should go for the best one, the topmost one. That's Bhagavad-gita, the essence. For others, we are not so much interested.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Kavita Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. It's a kind of personal experience, if I can be permitted to share quickly regarding the obligation that you were talking about. It was an educational institution where I was forced to sign a document during the examination, and I refused. Very politely, I refused. But then the management took the signature of somebody else on the same document and got their way out and got their things done, you know. So it was so embarrassing for me to see that, not because I did not sign, but because even in my presence as the head of the institution, the management could get their way out by getting the sign by somebody else, and they got what they wanted. So the guilt remains with me till now, even after a decade and plus, that how could I allow such a thing to happen in front of my eyes? Am I really guilty? Or though I refused, so my conscience, you know, it keeps biting me. It's a confession today, Prabhuji. So I'm really wondering, I was so overwhelmed when you were talking about that. So I was really touched, and I was wondering, where do I stand even on today when it hurts me, you know, that how and why did I not stop that thing to happen? Maximum, the disadvantage could have been that I would have been resigning 10 years earlier. I resigned 10 years later, but then I would have been made to resign on the very same day, maybe.
So in that situation, what we should do is, first of all, we should know one thing, that the age that we are living in is full of people who are deceptive in nature. They are hypocrites, right? This is the general scenario out there. It's not something to hide. We all have experiences. People are, very less people are there in this world who are honest, have integrity, right? They like to find the shortcuts and mess with things and do things. So we are living in a place, at a time, the times are like that we cannot be really so particular about all these intricate and subtle details of dharma. So what we should do is, though we know what is right and we have the good intention, we should try our best to maintain the right things in the place where we work and have the ethics and ethos. But at the same time, knowing the nature of the age, we should also be a little detached. Because if you are not personally involved into it, you are not accountable for it, right? It's not your mistake. You did not do the wrong thing. So those who did the wrong thing, they will get their punishment, right? So we have to stay detached. Like I'll tell you one incident. One person, he joined a spiritual institute, all right? And this person had some savings. So the in charge of that institute told this person, we need some money. Can you please donate? We need to buy certain things for this institute. And that person was new and very sincere and faithful. And he said, okay. Whatever belongs to me is God's. You take. After he gave the donation, later he realized that that person, though he took the donation for the institute, he used it for his personal life. Okay. Now, in that scenario, a third person came into the picture, and he told this person who gave the money, you are cheated. You got cheated, right? You got cheated because you gave the money for a particular purpose, but the one who took the money used it for another purpose. So what are you going to do about it? See, he gave a very simple answer. He said, whatever that person did, that's his problem. I gave for the right purpose. So Krishna will see that, right? So what that person did, God will take him accountable for that. So he told that now I cannot undo what is done, but I can only be more extra careful from next time. Isn't it? So when we are in a world like this, we have to know one thing, that there are people around you, they may not be really, really honest and sincere, but you have to do your part. And that's all. You have to be accountable for yourself. What others do, you can give them an advice that this is wrong, please don't do it. If you have power and force, you can use that. But beyond that, can't do much. So then leave it like that. Because anyway, that is not the goal of our life, to go on correcting things in this world. Even if we make everything correct in this world, the world has been designed in a way that it will not be correct. Right? This world has been designed like that. That if you solve all the problems, then Krishna will put new problems. Because the world has been designed for that. So what do we learn from these experiences is that we take the final lesson, the ultimate lesson. This place is not a fit place for me to live in. And I want to get out of this place. I want to go to another place, which is a better place. That's the best lesson to learn. Because this way, this place is anyway not the fit place. Whoever we may be, even if we are Lord Brahma or Lord Indra, we cannot stop demons from doing crazy things in this world. That will always happen. Right? So what do we learn from such experiences? Better plan for a journey back home, back to God. That's the thing. Right?
Thank you. Thank you.
Ratnalekha Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I marvel at your intelligence and your answers that you give. I just have, maybe I'm diverting from what we are doing, but I don't know at what age we can put Bhagavad-gita to children, to explain Bhagavad-gita to children, because if we look at the content now, how do we explain these things to children? So that is my question. Do you have any advice on that?
You don't explain these things to children, because the audience who are attending this course now, they are not children. So you cannot explain this to children. You can only teach lokas, you can tell them stories, you can tell them simple instructions, but you cannot get into the intricate, sophisticated details, right? Because this is Bhakti Shastri, we are getting into these details. Otherwise, if you would be just a newcomer who is coming for first Bhagavad-gita class, then even this is not meant for you. Isn't it? This is meant for those who have at least some understanding of Bhagavad-gita, or they are interested to study Gita deeply, properly. So for children, we make it very simple, very, very, very simple. It's possible to teach to children. Not that we can't, but we teach what they can understand. That's why the teacher should have the skill and understanding of how much to give to whom, the same subject matter. That we have to see what they can digest. Pangashu. Unmute, please. Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji, the book that you have given, the Bhakti Shastri course, on page number 26 onward, there is a question list.
Yes.
So that closed book assessment, we have to, the first chapter is about to finish.
Yeah.
We can do all questions, 10, 11 questions.
Yeah.
So we have to submit these questions to you?
No, not needed.
Not needed. But this is for our final examination.
Yeah. It's for you. Yes. So what he is saying is that on the handbook that we shared on page 26, there are a list of questions, which are your question bank for first unit examination, those who are giving the examination, right? So there are questions there. Chapter 1 is going to get over there. How many questions from chapter 1, Prabhu? Pankaj?
11.
So you find the answers to those 11 questions and put it in your notebook, right? You don't have to share with me. You put it in a notebook, and on the final exam day, questions will come from there, plus some 1 or 2 surprise questions, and then you attend that. All right. Okay. So that's for the question bank.
One more point.
Yeah. Yes.
Prabhuji, on page number 31, there is open book assessment questions. There's 10 questions. So these we have to submit you.
Not 10, only 2.
Only 2 questions.
Yeah.
Any 2.
Yeah, okay. So what I'll do now, tomorrow after the class is over, I'll again explain the whole thing. Maybe if some of you may not be sure about it, right? So those who are giving the exam, I'll explain everything tomorrow. All right, yes. See, the handbook is for those who are giving the exam. Please make a note of it. I can share the handbook with everyone, but those who are not giving the exams, then it's your personal thing. You can study from the handbook and write the question answers. But those who are not giving the exams, it's not compulsory, right? It's up to you. Because please note one thing. There are 100 people individually writing the papers, but there's one person to correct the papers. So you should remember that. So for you, it's very simple, but for me, it's not easy, right? To correct all the papers and essays and this and that. So if you are not giving the exams or for certificate, then keep it optional, right? All right, Pratik, what's your question?
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So my question is that in today's lesson, there was a point where we discussed, where we learned that we should be doing things that gives pleasure to Krishna, or Arjuna should be doing what things that should be pleasure to Krishna. So how would Arjuna know, or
okay,
the correct question would be, how would we know that?
We'll come to your first question. How would Arjuna know?
Yeah.
Why would Arjuna not know? It's not that Arjuna is living in Afghanistan and Krishna is living in Australia, and the first day of battle is the day they are meeting for the first time, and they never had any conversation before. They are living together for months and months, and they are talking about fighting, and Krishna has told so many times. So why would Arjuna not know that Krishna wants me to fight? Right? He knows, pretty simple. He knows. He's living with him every day. Why would he not know what does Krishna want? He knows that, right? He knows that Krishna wants us to fight. All right. So it's great. If the question is, how would I know what Krishna wants me to do? Then yes, that's a good question. But Arjuna, how would he know what Krishna wants to do? That's very simple. Baba. He's living with Krishna. Why would he not know? Krishna has told so many times. Okay, now let me clarify this. You people, some of you have confusion. See, in this course, we have 3 kinds of students. 1, who are doing Gita Sastri. 2, who are doing Bhakti Shastri with BOE certification. 3, who are doing Bhakti Shastri without BOE certification, right? So those who are doing Gita Shastri and Bhakti Shastri without certification, what was the exam? 18 quizzes, MCQs, online quizzes, and essay, which I have already posted in the group, and some of you have submitted, right? For those who are doing Bhakti Shastri with certification, they have a different exam pattern, which I have already explained on the day of opening the course. So exams are for everyone. For one set, we have a different examination pattern. For the other set, we have a different examination pattern. Now, for those who are doing Bhakti Shastri, I thought of adding this to that. You all will also have to do the MCQ quizzes, which the others are doing. Those are your surprise tests that also you have to do. So this is how it is. Exams are for everyone, just the different types of exams. Okay? Yeah? Understand? All right. So see you tomorrow. We'll stop here if no more questions. Tomorrow we'll complete this chapter, and tomorrow we have 2 debates. I hope the contestants are prepared well for the debates. And Tina Mataji, you have a question?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I was solving the questions given in the handbook, but I was stuck in one question number 5 from chapter number 1. List the wolves made by wolves Bhima made after the gambling match, but I was not able to find the answer to this question on the text.
Okay, you can send the question to me on WhatsApp. Fine. Okay. All right. Can you please explain flight, fight, freeze, and fawn? Okay, I'll redo that. You are in a dangerous situation. You want to fight, which means attack. Flight means what? You want to run away. Freeze means what? You're confused what to do and you become numb, right? Frozen, right? And fourth is fawn. Fawn means you try to negotiate. You try to, tell the enemy, let's make friendship. Let's come together, do some patching. Okay? 4 things. Very simple. For Arjuna, what is happening here? What is he doing? Which one? Fight? No. Flight? No. Fawn? No. Freeze. Frozen. Cannot decide. Right? Cannot decide. Okay? Yes? So, okay, the handbook is shared here by Dhananjay Prabhu. I'll also share in the WhatsApp group with all of you. Anju Mataji.
Prabhuji, regarding the question you had said in the middle of the class that based on these 4 things, fight, flight, and you wanted us to do something like segregate the shlokas?
I'll explain tomorrow. No worries. I'll explain it again tomorrow. Let the first chapter complete, then I'll explain that again. Right?
Fine.
Why Ishvara has no energy but Jiva has energy? No, Ishvara also has energy. He is the supreme energetic person. He has energy. Ishvara is full of energy. He is the most energetic person. He's the powerhouse of energy. He is Shaktiman, full of energy, and he has different energies. Govardhan Dari Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. I have a question.
Yes, Prabhu.
In a lecture by Srila Prabhupada, I think in London, he said that during the time of Krishna, only around roughly 200 people knew that he was the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Arjun, he knew, and that moment, like chapter number 1 of Bhagavad-gita. That's my question.
You are asking whether Arjun knew that Krishna is...
Yes, at least in that moment of the first chapter of Bhagavad-gita.
Yes. Okay, thank you for the question, Prabhuji. So Prabhuji's question is that while we are discussing chapter 1 of Bhagavad-gita, during that period, did Arjuna know Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead? Yes, that's your question, Prabhu? Yes. So, okay, very good question. So we'll understand it in this way. Like I have explained before, Arjuna is a pure devotee of Lord Krishna, full of transcendental knowledge. So he is aware who he is and who Krishna is. But by Krishna's arrangement, there is a curtain of Maya, illusion, which has fallen in front of Arjuna. Okay? And because of that curtain, the vision of Arjuna is not that clear now. It is blurred. We are talking about not just this eyesight. We are talking about understanding things. The vision is not clear. But because he's a pure devotee of Krishna, his real identity is also not completely lost. So, he knows that Krishna is God, but at the same time, there is illusion. It's not that he's fully into Maya. No, it doesn't happen like that. But there are elements of illusion. Elements. That's why if you study further on Bhagavad-gita, what does Arjuna tell to Krishna? These demons of doubts are attacking me. These demons of doubts are attacking me, Krishna. You kill these demons. Now, let me ask you a question. If a person is in illusion and that person does not know I am in illusion, is that situation same as a person in illusion and knowing that I am in illusion? No, right? It's not the same. Arjuna knows I am in illusion. He knows because he will tell that in chapter 2, shloka number 7. He will tell Krishna that I know what is my duty, but I am not able to do it. I know what is my duty, but I am not able to do it. So Arjuna is not completely in illusion. There are some elements of illusion that have come. Some doubts have come, some confusion has come. So it's not that Arjuna doesn't know Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. Arjuna knows that. It's there in the background. But in the foreground, it's not always manifesting. And that we see from all the pastimes of Lord Krishna. Yashoda knows Krishna is God, but that is in background. It remains in the background. Sometimes it comes forward, sometimes it goes back again, like that. Govardhan Dari Prabhuji, is that okay? Okay. Thank you so much.
Duryodhan, he knew.
Duryodhan. Well, Prabhuji, if you look at this question from that angle, whether these people are eternal associates of Lord Krishna, then yes, at the back of the back of the back of the back of the mind, yes, right? But if you look at from the drama point of view, no. In fact, Dhritarashtra also knew Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. Dhritarashtra knew that.
I'm asking because Srila Prabhupada said that roughly 200 people knew during the present time during the time of Krishna.
Correct. But again, Prabhuji, when we read such statements, we have to look at it from which platform is this being spoken. Is it being spoken on the drama level, or is it being spoken on the, the real level? We have to look at that, because the acharyas, when they talk, the context in which they talk is also very important, right? The context, on which context they are talking. So on external level, yes, only few people knew Krishna is God, But if you look at it as a drama where all of them have come to play the positive role or the negative role, right? And so in that way, they all know that they are a part of the drama. But we are not so much interested in that part, because we are learning from it. So we are interested on the external part. So for external, if you ask me, Duryodhana does not know Krishna is God. Externally, if you ask me, he does not know. He does. What does Duryodhana think? Krishna is a good magician. He knows how to do magic. He's a good magician. That's all he knows. He can talk very nicely, and he can do some magic. That's what Duryodhana thinks about Krishna. Okay, we will take now last question, Nagaraj. Kalpana, I'll take a question tomorrow. Yes.
Thank you, Prabhuji. I just wanted to add something else here. During the Dyuta, that is during the gambling, I think Krishna Bhagavan had shown his, before the war, Krishna Bhagavan had shown his Vishwarupa to the whole court audience, where Dhritarashtra, Duryodhana, all of them were there. So they had already seen Krishna's form once, but they have forgotten afterwards. So it is Maya, which basically has meant that
actually, if you read Mahabharata deeply, when Krishna showed that form to Duryodhana, he responded in this way, that Krishna has some powers, some mystic powers, and is just showing some magic. I don't really believe in his supremacy. So it's not that Duryodhana understood Krishna is God and then he forgot. If you read the whole Mahabharata, then you will come to know that Duryodhana had made a very cunning plan. What was Duryodhana's plan? That he had made some kind of contrivance that he would pull on a plug, and the seat below Krishna would collapse, and Krishna from there will fall down into earth and go to hell from there. That's what his plan. And Krishna knew about it, and Krishna showed his universal form. Again, please note, the form which he showed to Duryodhana, which we call universal form, was not the complete universal form. Krishna showed universal form to many people when he was present on planet Earth, but he showed the complete universal form only to one person. That's Arjuna. What he showed to Duryodhana was a partial manifestation of that universal form. So that's why Duryodhana did not know Krishna is God. Even if he knew, he did not accept Krishna is God. Knowing and accepting are two different things. Right? He did not accept wholeheartedly. He did not accept. So that's why we take it like that. Okay, Govardhan Prabhuji. Comment, question.
Sorry. Previously, I think last weekend, you say that Duryodhana think that God without energies is useless or something like that.
Sorry, I did not get it.
Okay. Last weekend, you say that Duryodhana talked.
Yeah.
That God, Krishna.
Not. Okay, I'll just rephrase. Duryodhana was thinking Krishna without his powers, to fight is useless, right? Then a lesson from that is that people think if God loses his powers, then God is useless, right?
Okay. I was thinking that Duryodhana, knowing that Krishna is God, so he was thinking that Krishna without power, without his energies, is useless. So then I was thinking, okay, he understood that Krishna was God.
Yeah. Not like that, Prabhu. That Duryodhana was thinking Krishna, if he doesn't fight, he is useless. And that's what generally people think, that they are only interested in God's powers. Ravana also thought like that, that if Ram, he is not having power, then he's useless. I can easily defeat Ram. But they don't understand that you cannot remove the powers from, from God. You cannot make God, without powers. So that's a general understanding of normal people. They try to separate God from his qualities, from his powers, from his abilities, but they don't understand it all comes together as a package, right? Okay, so we'll stop here. Thank you so much. See you tomorrow. And those of you who answered that the course is very tough for you and you're not able to catch up, please write to me personally. Because if you're not able to catch up in the second or third week of the course, I don't know if you'll survive till the end. So I don't want people to die in the course. I want them to stay alive and stay till the end. So please write to me. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.